I want to tell you a story. It initially might sound like it has nothing to do with this topic, but it is crucial that you guys listen to this. A number of years ago, when I was an undergraduate, I took calculus-based physics. When we had our first exam in that class, I prepared, I thought, for an amount of time that I thought was sufficient, and then I took the exam, and I totally bombed it. I got like a 45 or something like that. It was an F. And I was a little bit depressed. However, I took the now graded exam and looked at it and realized as I started combing through it, seeing what I did right and what I did wrong, that almost every single problem that my professor put on his exam came direct from the homework problems that he assigned and that we as students did as, for a pittance of points in his class. Now, I'm not saying that he copied them verbatim, but I could see that the homework or the exams mirrored the homework, enough so that if I knew how to do the homework very, very well, I bet I could do well on the exam. So what I did for the next exam is rather than just kind of study in an abstract, unfocused way, I took the homework problems that we'd done preparatory for the next exam, and I redid all of them. See, I'd done them all one time, and we had a recitation with the TA who helped us kind of navigate through them, through the challenging ones. But rather than just do them the one time to get my points, I got my graded homework assignments back, and then I did them again. And the way I did that was by getting a huge stack of paper out of the recycle paper thing at the school. So anytime I saw a piece of paper that had a blank side, I would take it and I'd use it as scratch paper. So I redid every single one of those homework questions. Every single one from all of the homeworks that were going to be covered on the next exam. It took me, and once again, I did every single one. It took me about 16 total hours of time to redo every single homework problem the first time. I should mention here that I didn't do all of this in one sitting. I sort of spread it over a couple of days. I mean, at the time, I had a full class load, and I was working full-time, and I had a kid, so I had a lot on my plate. But I still managed to do it. I lost a lot of hours of sleep doing it, but anyway, didn't all do it just in one sitting. Okay, hopefully that's clear. Then I took that stack of scratch paper and I threw it away. Well, I recycled it. Then I got a second stack of scratch paper that I once again got by dumpster diving into the recycle bin, and I did all of those homework problems again. Now, this time that I did it, this is, I guess, my third time doing the homework problems, it took me about half the time. It took me about 8 hours. And then I took that stack and I recycled it. I took another stack and I did it all again. This time, which was now my fourth time doing the homework problems, I was able to do them all in 4 hours. And then I took that and recycled it and grabbed another stack. My point in doing this, the repetition, was I wanted to make sure that I had drilled into my head how to do these problems so that I knew them. I mean, I knew them as fluidly as I knew my own name. So I ended up doing all of the homework problems a total of about 4 to 5 times. By the time I got to my 5th time, I could do every single homework problem in that stack in about an hour and a half. So what did that do for my exam? Well, in the next exam, I walked into it and I read over the exam, and I knew every single problem. I knew how to do every single problem that he had on that exam, and I whizzed through it. I got done with his exam like 20-25 minutes, and I got 100%. Now, I realized that that process took a long time, all of the doing and redoing of the homework, but it paid off. And guess what? I did that same process for all of my succeeding exams, and I got 100% on every single exam for the rest of the semester. Even though I had a 45% on my first exam, which I had to keep, we didn't get to drop an exam or anything, I still finished that semester with an A-, which I think is pretty stellar given the fact that that A- came from one exam score being an F. Now, just so you know, I also did this exact same process for a lot of my other classes. In fact, most of my other classes from that point forward in college. So I put in tons and tons of time, very, very small amount of sleep, and by doing it this way, I was able to get almost straight A's from that point forward, or very, very close. So this in a college setting really is the price of success. The price of success is working really hard and almost never sleeping. So what's my point in telling you this? I want you, my students, especially from this point forward for the rest of the semester, to make sure that you pay the price in time and repetition. I will give you homework problems that will help cover all of the concepts that you guys need to know in order to nail that final exam, but I cannot put in the time for you. So I am begging you, my students, please make sure that you put in the time. And don't think that just because you did each homework problem one time, that's enough. It's not enough, unless it happens to be enough for you. But for me, I discovered that I had to do every single homework problem about 5 times minimum in order to really, really know it. Some of you guys might not have to do it that many times, but that's how many times I had to do it. So I'm inviting you, my students, to make sure that you pay that price. Do all of the homework problems that I recommend as many times as it takes, and it might be fewer than 5 for you, it might be more than 5, but as many times as it takes in order to make sure that you know these concepts as well as you know your own name. You get to that point, you can walk in that exam, and the exam will feel like a kindergarten exam to you. You'll be able to just bam, 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 get 100% and walk out proud of yourselves. I know you can do it. I know each of you, my students, and I know you can do it. So I'm begging you, please do.